I'm here at the Joseph E. Hill Education Center for a news conference with Pastor Michael Nabors, who's the president of the NAACP, Evanston North Shore, and community leaders and religious leaders, clergy. And they are here to stand up to support Dr. Devon Horton, who is the new superintendent for District 65, and the school board, including President Anya Tanyavutti, who have recently been targeted with a lot of hate, vitriol, and threats for their plan to, when the school opens, they're going to give priority to kids who are marginalized, particularly black and brown kids. And because of that plan, so they want to open the school buildings to marginalized kids before the main student population comes back to school. And for that, they have received enormous amounts of hate mail, threats. Pastor Nabors had written a letter addressing the issue. And so this is a news conference just to reiterate their support. There was actually an article about this whole situation in the Wall Street Journal 2 days ago. So I'm just here because I think it's really important that we stand up to support District 65 as they push toward being an anti-racist institution, to closing the achievement gap or the opportunity gap. And so that is why I am here, and I am going to turn the camera around and share the news conference with you. So in the meantime, I'm going to interview Monique Jones, who is with the Evanston Community Foundation. So she's the executive director. Are you the president?
President and CEO.
President and CEO of the Evanston Community Foundation. So what are you doing here today?
Just in support. You know, the foundation obviously supports District 55, obviously supports Dr. Horton, and all the parents who are looking to make sure that we close that achievement gap. And so, in partnership with Dr. Horton and his work, we're just here to stand in solidarity.
Is it surprising to you at all that they got such vitriol and hatred?
It's always surprising to me when this happens.
Even though we're getting so used to it.
I do not want to get used to it. I'm constantly surprised. What I am excited about is the unity that comes around it.
Thank you. So this is Rabbi Rachel Weiss, and she's with the Jewish Reconstructionist congregation. And what are you doing here?
I am here because access to public education and economic justice and anti-racism are all Jewish values. And that is who we are, is to make sure that those in our community are taken care of who need it the most. The reality is we are a community, we're a congregation, but a community that is so broadly diverse. And if we're actually going to support that kind of diversity, if we don't embrace and stand up for what we believe in by actually standing up for equity and supporting our amazing educators, supporting Dr. Horton, supporting the school board, and making sure that everyone who really needs the resources can get them first, then who are we? I mean, we really, part of our mission as human beings, and part of our mission for me as a rabbi representing Jewish faith, is to say that as a community we have a responsibility to make sure that everyone is taken care of. There is terrible systemic racism in our country, and all of us who have white skin have in one way or another benefited from the privileges that come with that systemic racism. And so it's our right, our responsibility is to stand up and say, you know what, other people have not benefited in that same way. In fact, they've been oppressed and enslaved and incarcerated and denied economic opportunities. And so part of that reparation work is to say, please stand back and let's let everyone have equity and access to do this. So
it sort of seems so obvious, and then I was on the Wall Street Journal, the Wall Street Journal article yesterday or the day before, and foolishly I was reading the comments, and you realize how small a group of people understand this kind of thing, and how unbelievably far we have to go.
Over the last 4 years in particular, this country has given a really loud microphone to bullies and bigots and those who are spewing hatred. And what we have to do is fill it with love, and is to say, no, this is not about being not about denying anyone what they might need. It's about really having to give up something that many of us can probably live without and have the resources to be just fine. My own two children are in remote school right now. They are in District 65. They are struggling with remote school like everybody else, but we can have them at home. I can work from home for them. I can support them. And there are hundreds of children in this district who can't do that. And so if we really actually believe in equity, then we have to support our school district in what they are doing. And so we support Dr. Horton, we support the school board, and we have to stand up and do it. You know, there's that saying that I had a conversation with my 7th grader about this, that equal rights for everybody doesn't mean less rights for you. It's not pie.
It's not pie, yeah.
Except equity actually is pie.
It is pie.
It's saying, you know what, I got to eat pie for generations. And my family benefited because someone else let me eat pie. And now it's time to say, I don't need any more pie. Everybody else does.
Thank you. And tell me quickly, because people may want to know what your mask
So
means.
my mask in Hebrew says tzedek, tzedek tirdof, which is a line from Deuteronomy in the Torah or the Hebrew Bible, which says justice, justice you shall pursue. And one of the reasons that word tzedek, which means justice, is repeated is because we have to hear it twice.
But what do you hope people get from this news conference, and what's the message that you want people to hear?
First, we're here in support of justice and against injustice. You know, we've had information in several forms from different groups about negative information that has come to the district in regards to the superintendent. And for NAACP is always against any type of injustice.
Good afternoon. We're grateful to be able to stand in front of District 65 today in support of Dr. Devon Horton and the amazing work that he's doing with regard to equity during this time of pandemic. I'm going to read a statement, but before I do, I want to share that I'm grateful for my colleagues in the NAACP, the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, Evanston North Shore Chapter, as well as members of the clergy and members of nonprofit organizations who are present behind me. We, the Evanston North Shore NAACP, various houses of worship, and community residents are in full support of Dr. Horton and his administration and the District 65 board under the leadership of President Anya Tanyavutti. We have been both disheartened and charged by negative, threatening, and baseless critiques aimed at Dr. Horton and District 65 regarding equity initiatives and outreach to our inclusive, interracial, and multicultural community. In an effort to show equity for Black and Brown students, for special education students, and for LGBTQ students, Dr. Horton has offered first priority of seats for in-person learning. We are aware of the disturbing and distressing statistics related to ongoing struggles that these students undergo both locally and nationally. We are proud that Evanston became the first town in the nation to endorse and implement a reparations program for Black residents. We are proud that valuable institutions like the Evanston Community Foundation, the McGaw YMCA, and Amita St. Francis are all led by immensely qualified and gifted Black presidents and CEOs. While we have not arrived at a place where we can yet call Evanston a beloved community for everyone, many of us believe that we are well on the way. In an article in Wall Street Journal yesterday, the authors wrote, "Advocates in Evanston are demanding that Americans choose sides. Are you racist or anti-racist?" It is an interesting statement, and we are not sure who the journalists were quoting. But for us, it is not a matter of choosing sides, which makes fighting racism sound like a fair battle and may the best side win. No, racism, injustice, and inequities are deeply moral issues that have been tearing at the fabric of America for 401 years. It is no longer a matter of choosing sides, and truthfully, it never was. Rather, it is a matter of believing that truth is more powerful than lies, right is stronger than wrong, and equality is greater than inequality. Dr. Devon Horton has worked with dozens of community leaders since the moment he and his family arrived in Evanston this summer. In addition, he has reached out to different organizations and houses of worship in an effort to share each step and initiative for moving forward. With a nation that seems to be moving backwards when it comes to race relations, it is good to know that District 65 in Evanston is moving full force forward. We have a word for those anonymous residents and non-residents who have been sending death threats to Black and brown administrators and educators in District 65. We are here today to confront your hatred with justice, to confront your threats with equality, to confront your biases with a unity that is a multiplicity of multicultural, interfaith, and intergenerational members of this community. We are the vast majority of the Evanston community. We believe that while we may not have it all together, together we have it all. And thus we are confident that our support of District 65 and its leadership will send an important signal throughout our town. We will not start and stop with the signing of this letter. We commit ourselves to working with District 65 and Dr. Horton to carry out the long overdue initiatives that will bring justice to all of our teachers, all of our students, all of our staff, and especially to all of Evanston. Thank you very much. Any questions? You did. We are grateful for Dr. Horton who was present, and I assume that's your beautiful family. So we thank you for being present.
What does it make you think when you see this kind of support from these
I'm gonna try to do that too.
First off, we're doing right now. It has been quite an experience coming to Evanston. The community set out the gate that they wanted to focus on equity. It closed the TV that I really feel like this is an example of not just the board speaking, but also the community standing. So I feel very good about our efforts. And I'm not in this alone. I think about anything.
There was criticism about the statement with the students who need to help the most, and the seats the first. You first of all stand by that statement, and why do you think that's the case?
So I would say, ideally, the statement talking about our priority students, special education, community one, emerging bilinguals. It just happens to be here, and Evanston, those are majority African American and Latin students. If you look at the gap, we have one of the largest community gaps in the country. And so the only way we can't continue to further extend the gap by letting them stay at home struggling, we have to give all students some kind of equitable access. And that's sometimes in different forms. But we know that some students are not getting some of the resources that other families have. Again, they happen to fall into the priority categories. And that's for any student that has, no matter what their race is, their friends just want special education. Emerging bilinguals, we want to take that. Yes.
Tell me about that idea.
So the camps were, there was an outcry from a lot of community members and families who needed some additional support. Family members who couldn't go to work. So we use the same message for the priority. And we identify families and we have principals to reach out because they have the relationships with the students, and those students have been identified. And not every family is accepted to come in. Some are still concerned about COVID and not comfortable. So we're going down the list and calling students and families in to receive some support that's more structured than what some of the homes are able to offer right now.
You're trying to strike a balance here between being safe and being effective.
Yes. So the smaller numbers, I go to our facilities first. We spend a great deal of time really getting our facilities in order so that we can really meet the CDC guidelines. So having spacing in the hallways, spaces in the classroom, having our hand sanitation places all in order. And so then we're looking at smaller numbers for the camp. We don't have, in no school, we have more than 23 students at either camp. So we keep them very small, and there are 2 adults in the room to work with smaller numbers.
What about when classes do resume? Are you concerned about the balance continuing in the school?
So what we've been studying are other students that have been able to go back to school, and they've been able to go back very safely with the following CDC guidelines. So it gives us hope. Hope is not a plan. It gives us a true look at how this really turns out for families and students. And we're not having a lot of COVID cases in the other districts regarding that. And we have really paid a lot of attention to details. And so we are confident that we can bring our students and our staff back safely in a really structured way.
What's your advice to parents who do have concerns, not only about the students that are out, but this may go through some
I would hope that our families think about how the students in their home. And here in Evanston, many families that have the access, or even some of them who may not be as privileged in terms, and what I mean by privileged in this, having resources, they reach out to me because we understand what you're doing. We do see the need for us to prioritize equity for a certain population. So for those families, we are going to phase it in. Our goal is to, by January, to get most, if not all of our students back that desire to return, regardless.
Thank you so much.
I don't. Thank you.